G'day viewers, grab yourself a cuppa. We've got a development update from Just Trains on the West Coast Main Line, Preston to Carlisle. As always, I read these to you to improve the accessibility of the information for those who cannot or won't go and read it at the source. So, 23rd of October, welcome to the latest in development entry. This one focuses on Carlisle and surrounding areas, Carlisle region. Carlisle is a famous railway city, the meeting point of 4 lines in the 1980s. It is a constant hive of activity no matter what time of day or night you visit. Carlisle Citadel Station and the surrounding area will be the key hub on our West Coast Main Line, Preston to Carlisle route. Should you choose to spend some time train spotting here, you're bound to see a wide variety of movement and traction. Citadel Station itself features 3 through platforms, making it something of a bottleneck in busier periods, while it also features 3 South End and 2 North End Bay platforms. The South End bays provide terminating points for trains from the Cumbrian Coast, Newcastle and Settle to Carlisle line. Through that particular route saw less than 5 trains a day during the 1980s. At the north end of Citadel Station, you will find 2 north-facing bay platforms. These are used by trains from Glasgow, most of which will have travelled via the route through Dumfries. You will find that a Class 08 pilot is present here to assist with shunt releasing inbound train so that the locomotive can return to service northwards. At least they didn't say it was relieving. Outside the station, with its impressive overall roof, you will find the Citadel itself, and many of the shops and streets surrounding have been faithfully recreated by our team to give Carlisle a realistic feel. Moving away from Carlisle city centre to the north, we find Kingmoor Traction Maintenance Depot and Marshalling Yard. The depot is a core area of the route where locomotives are sourced throughout the day by a variety of services. In 1986, the depot was in its final year of BR use and was also utilised by empty stock trains from Carlisle, which would arrive in service from London Euston, for example, before running up to Kingmoor to run around and then in some cases return back to Upperby Depot for stabling. A bizarre series of moves, all taken from the working timetable, which is sure to keep you entertained in the area. Aside from the TMD, you will find the Marshalling Yard. This huge complex location about half a mile north of the depot was a source of much freight in the 1980s, from limestone trains to Hardendale Quarry to the vast array of trip workings which we have represented in our route. You will find these Class 08 hauled services take you to a number of locations across Carlisle, including London Road Coal Concentration Depot, Curragh Wagon Works, Upperby Cement Terminal and Petterall Bridge Oil Terminal. The trip workings provide a fantastic challenge, particularly when you have a fully loaded rake of TEA tankers or PCA cement wagons in tow. To the south of Carlisle Station, you will find the signal box. This controls movements as far south as Carnforth and north towards the end of our route at Kingmoor, as well as the myriad of signals to the south of Citadel Station. A complex network of lines encompasses the south side of the city with London Road Coal Concentration Depot and Petterall Bridge Oil Terminal in close proximity alongside the S&C and Newcastle lines. Whilst Upperby Cement Terminal dominates the line side, apart from this, Curragh Wagon Repair Depot is featured whilst Rome Street goods sidings house the metal box factory. This is located on what was formerly Carlisle Avoiding Line, this having closed in May 1984 following a derailment on the Calder River Bridge, thus forcing all freight trains through Citadel Station instead. You can still see clear signs of this line in our 1986 based route. Another interesting location to the south of the Citadel Station is Upperby Depot. This provided a stabling point for both electric and diesel traction in Carlisle City, but was more notably used for the holding of carriages for both services on the West Coast Main Line and Settle to Carlisle lines. You'll be able to form services of empty stock here for ready for movement into Carlisle. This includes the accurate and interesting propelling movements which used to take place. A high number of landmarks have been extensively recreated by our custom asset team. These include, among others, Carlisle Cathedral, Carlisle Castle, Dixon's Chimney and Mill, London Road Goods Depot, BT Carlisle Harrowby Mast, and the Milton Hotel overlooking Upperby. This wide variety of buildings provide a fantastic backdrop to a truly historic and vibrant city railway. We are sure you won't tire of things to do in or around Carlisle. While it's shuttling around in the Class 08 or preparing to charge the south at the helm of a Class 87, there are always things to do. That's it for now. Enjoy these latest screenshots featuring Carlisle and the surrounding area. Each screenshot is captioned to offer further detail and information. Let's have a look then. So we've got a Class 08 going through Carlisle's through roads with a trip 9004 from Kingmoor to London Road. This train conveys loaded HEAs for the coal concentration depot. Go there and concentrate on it. It is coal. Sorry, I'll be quiet now. A cold and misty evening finds 47578 at Carlisle Kingmoor prior to working back south later that night. There's one thing about this image that bothers me a little bit, because this is the mid-80s, and I'm pretty sure, not 100% sure, but pretty sure this style of safety vest was not until the change of the century. Could be wrong, but I just kind of think that. I think in this time period they used a little chest orange piece that started just below the breast and went up to the neck. But I could be wrong. Could be. Earl Marshall departs from Upperby Goods Loop at the head of a southbound container train. These trains will take all your skill in adverse weather conditions to master the Northern Fells. Well, many colours of containers there, good to see. No junk around though, it's very clean and tidy. Eight 08902 runs around a small train of vans at Rome Street. These vans would then be reversed into the metal box factory sidings, located just under the bridge in the background. The lines in this photo once formed part of the Carlisle avoiding line, which closed in May 1984. Following a derailment, the Rome Street gas cylinder frame dominates this landscape. We'd call that a gasometer. They used to be used for gas storage. These days they maintain the network at pressure and force the gas in at pressure. Wonder how long we'll have gas for. Seems to be a topic of contention. A Whitehaven-bound stopping service prepares to get up to speed as it heads for the Cumbrian coast. In the background is the wagon repair depot at Currick. All manner of vehicles were repaired here, and trip workings from Kingmoor were used to transfer these. So you can see a bunch of different vehicles hanging around here, getting ready to be repaired, and the two 101s heading out. Above and below. This shows the complex multi-level line south of Carlisle Citadel Station. On the lower lines, Class 08 can be seen running around its train at Rome Street, whilst 47648 approaches from the Cumbrian coast. In the background, a number of Class 47s await their next turn of duty, in high whopping stabling sidings as a Class 87 departs Carlisle with a fresh train. All these mentions of the Cumbrian coast, I suspect they're AI services, so don't get too excited, because I don't think the whole line's in there. I haven't seen any mention of it before. Upperby morning traction. A Gronk shunts a short rake of coaches out of Upperby TMB sidings. They're all very well matched in livery too. Delightful. No doubt on its way to form a full rake of coaches. All the while, a pair of 87s motor past as they get to grips with a heavily loaded steel train from Glasgow. A bit of a castle in the background. Kenilworth stands in the through siding at the rear of Carlisle Station with an empty steel train. This working would lay over for a short while to allow a northbound express to overtake it before continuing north. King Arthur makes a brief stop at Carlisle whilst working 1M34 1310 Glasgow Central to London Euston in July of 1986. Correctly formed with its Mark 1 NHA capable of 110 mph running and first class at the south end. These trains normally saw first class at the front going south to allow those on board to disembark quickly at Euston without having to walk the length of the train. Seems fair. Well, that's it for the character shots. So it looks like it's well on its way to being ready. So we haven't got a release date for this as yet, but looking at the shots, it does look remarkably ready. And I did see a lot of the things that I brought up in previous shots with just trains seem to be addressed. There seem to be shadows around vehicles. I noticed that the trucks are firmly planted on the ground, which is good. It is good in this shot, for example, to see a little bit of variety. So there's a couple parked and there's one with its tray up, which is good to see. I'd still like to see some more junk around these places. Industrial places just aren't this clean. It's just not. And neither are railways. They're not that clean either. They're not terrible, but they're not clean. But anyway, that's it for today. So enjoy. If you've got any questions, chuck them down below, and if I can answer them, I will. Alrighty, have fun, folks. See you later.
We played a game.